This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN Network. And joining me right now is Andrea Small-Howard. She is the president, CSO, and board member for GB Sciences, Inc. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is GBLX on the OTCQB. And you can actually see Andrea doing a presentation at our upcoming virtual event, the SNN Network Summer Virtual Event, happening August 17th through 19th, 2021. To register and see her presentation, please go to our website, conference.snn.network. All right, with that, Andrea, thank you so much for joining us today. How you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
It's great to have you on. So this is our first time doing an interview together, and as is tradition, I always love to ask about, a quick overview and history of the company. So please, the floor is yours.
Sure. When I joined the company back in 2014 as one of the founding board members, our goal was to provide quality cannabis-based products to the public. We started with operations in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we expanded to provide also these kinds of products in Louisiana through our partnership with LSU. So it was a great opportunity. Since then, we've now pivoted. Along the way, we were incubating a biotech company inside a cannabis company because it allowed us to have unique access to the plant and the capital markets that you often don't get when you're doing research. So while we were providing medical cannabis, we were also incubating this biotech company. And just this last year, we've sort of done a full pivot. We're sold off our cannabis holding assets. We've reinvested the capital, and we're now going all in on cannabis-based products that are destined to go through FDA-regulated pathways to provide help to the largest number of people. So that's kind of who we are.
Very good. All right. So tell us about, I'd love to learn more about that pivot. What inspired you and the team to make this change, and what then makes the company and those products and what you have in development unique and different compared to some of your peers out there?
Sure. So one of the things that we noticed, what brought us to cannabis in the first place is that our belief that plant-based medicines are the way to go, and a belief that multi-component drugs are better than single ingredient drugs. So if you look at pharmaceutical fare, it's single ingredient drugs that you take, and then you have to take 3 more drugs to combat the side effects of the first drug. So the way that we're designing our drugs is looking at the whole system and putting multiple components in there that have synergy among them to give you a better effect, as well as potentially to minimize the side effects that you get with these single component drugs. So that's kind of what we're about from the drug development side. And our pivot was a recognition that while we were doing good in providing medical cannabis, there are a lot of responsible players now in that space that are doing that at a much larger scale than we were. So we decided it was a great time to sort of cash out, take the capital, and sort of recoup our capital investments in the facilities, and to invest that in our drug development pipeline, which includes we have 2 products that are destined for human trials very soon. We have 4 that are in animal testing. We have a portfolio that contains more than 50 different conditions. So by the other reason to remove our plant touching assets is that it puts us in a different category so that we can try to uplist the company, so that we can raise the money that it's going to take to get these human trials going and hopefully get a brand new kind of drug on the marketplace that I think everyone will appreciate and need.
Very good. I mean, look, there's a lot of talk on Capitol Hill that Congress is trying to push forward cannabis to not be a Schedule I drug anymore. So is some of these developments kind of the thought process as to why, like, okay, well, they might start fast tracking some of these, I guess, medicinal use cases?
Oh, absolutely.
Is that what's going on?
I think, yeah, you're right. I think we can ride a wave where I think medical cannabis is really becoming destigmatized. I think that people recognize that this is certainly, like all drugs, we have to be responsible. But it had been put into a category that perhaps it didn't really deserve to be in, that's being considered worse than, all the other drugs combined. And so I think that it is both the current environment, sort of legal regulatory environment, as well as just public perception that cannabis-based products can really help people. And I think that's going to help the FDA get this thing going through, and all around it's a good thing.
Very good. I mean, I just have to ask from a business perspective. I mean, you're going from this over-the-counter, having product to sale to now this long. I mean, it's a slog now. I mean, what would you want investors to know about, like, well, why really do that? Because it seems like, yeah, the business is doing that, like
It's a
right?
good, that is a very good question. So one of the things that we saw is that while we were valuable providers, we didn't have the scale of some of our competitors. And we did have this nascent research and development program that other people didn't have. So I think that if you look at the number of people, a number of companies that are poised to serve the medical cannabis industry, there were many. But if you look at those folks that are actually ready to take cannabis to the next level, to an FDA regulated drug, there's a handful of those at best. And the other thing that we've done is, in addition to having a portfolio of cannabis based products, we've also just developed an AI enabled drug discovery platform that is able to look for and help to pre validate novel drugs based on cannabis or all other plants. We've built out a database that contains we're going through all kinds of different traditional medicine systems, and so now we're going to be able to play with not just the cannabis ingredients, but with proven ingredients in these other traditional medical systems. And I think that's going to give sort of a de-risking in some way to this whole move, because the platform really allows us to accelerate. We cut the amount of time it takes to get through the early stages of R&D down a lot by using our AI engine. And then we've been having reasonably good luck and good animal trials that we're in right now. And we're poised to put our first two products to human trials. So we think we're doing okay, despite being a sort of a small company with big goals.
Very good. And what's your background? I mean, how'd you come into all this back in 2014?
So my background is in biochemistry. I did research at the university on cannabinoids back in 2000, and I became convinced that these and other plants were the keys to unlocking a whole new kind of medicine. And so I had worked in small biotech companies in Southern Cal for about 10 or 15 years and had a great time doing it, but I always wanted to go back and look inside cannabis. And in 2014, there was that golden moment where lots of companies were looking to both start up operations in growing cannabis, and they were looking for scientists to sort of help guide them as far as formulation. So I took that opportunity, and I found like-minded folks that really believed that science should guide this process. And so in addition to trying to provide excellent products in the cannabis field, we were also building this portfolio at the same time. So we were sort of doubling down on their investors' dollars.
Very good. Well, with that, from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now moving forward?
I believe our lead programs in Parkinson's and in neuropathic pain are going to be real value drivers in the very near future. We're getting a lot of attention for our new AI-enabled drug discovery platform as well. So I think this sort of both of those kinds of intellectual property and assets will be driving the growth in this company going forward.
Very good. And Andrew, where can our audience go and find more information about GB Sciences and follow along the news there?
So there's our website, which is a pretty obvious place to go, www.gbsciences.com.
Well, with that, thank you so much for joining me today. We really do appreciate it. Good luck, stay safe, and I look forward to our next update.
Thank you very much.